And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, this is the Weighing In Podcast. And we just saw a fantastic changing of the guard. We just had the man, the myth, the legend, Belal. Don't forget the name Muhammad on our show, and he did not disappoint in what he said. He did not disappoint in the night. He went out and put on a fantastic performance against a true champion in Leon Rocky Edwards. Josh, I was so impressed with the pace of both fighters, and that we're going to talk all about that. There's all kinds of things for us to do. Don't talk about my background. It doesn't matter. I don't care about the white on my face. I don't care. I am still up and working. How you doing?
That's what we do. That's what we do around here at the Weighing In Podcast, man. We are here to bring you guys the content right as soon as the fight is done, and that's what we're doing. John is in Las Vegas doing his commands course, right?
Yes, sir.
For refereeing. If you guys thought you could referee, you thought it was an easy job, well, guess what? It is obviously not, and John is here to prove to you guys all that is not easy. We had some refereeing bad stuff going on tonight. We had one. It was the Bobby Green and Patty Pimblett stoppage. It's a little bit late. We'll talk about that. We'll get into that. But I mean, there was no ref needed, nothing at all needed involved in the beginning of it, in the main event, obviously tonight. But before we talk about it, look, this show is brought to you by BetUS.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
And man, we had some good odds for them as well. And I actually pulled up some of those odds, for the weekend. And Belal was a plus 275 by the time it came time for the fight to go down. And it was like actually a really good main event in terms of like your betting odds. You could have made a lot of money. Because, look, we had Belal on. He was talking about how he's going to get it done. He planned on getting it done in round 3. Was going to look over at the corners and say, give him some pep talk. Come on, son.
He was doing that.
You need to get it together, son. Do it for me.
He had Coach Dave doing it, man.
Yeah. He had it. John, what was surprising to me is that with the BetUS odds, look, you can pick either winner in round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and round 5. And if it goes the distance, which everyone thought it would go the distance, but if you can pick those either one, it was like plus 550, plus 650, plus 850. I was rather surprised, to be honest, how good those odds were. But obviously the betting odds, they always know it was a minus 190 for it to go the distance.
There you go.
Those little suckers. How do they always get it? I feel like we do live in the Matrix, John. I feel like the Matrix knows the betting odds are all based on the Matrix.
Take a look at fucking Keto George. You know we live in the Matrix when that man right there can actually be someone who has an apartment and is living and doing the things he's doing. Look at him now. Okay?
Yeah.
He is in the Matrix right now.
Looks like cake face. I don't even know what it is. I can't even see his eyes.
I was dodging bullets.
He's dodging bullets. He's going backwards.
I still call him the Muslim ginger. Bro, that's the first time I thought you had brown eyes. You actually have like green eyes, huh? They're like greenish blue.
I'm a mutt.
Yeah, we know.
Oh,
you and so are all of
Keto
us.
George.
All of us
Keto George, you're way more than a mutt, baby.
Yes.
Solid, sexy beast.
Well, John, let's go ahead and jump right into that main event with Belal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, the former champion now. But I mean, is it a lot of people were reading into the Belal Muhammad as just talk? It was this, it was that. Leon said, man, I fought him before. He's too slow. There's not enough that he can do. I'm sorry, but tonight, Belal Muhammad looked like the faster fighter. He looked like someone that was in that range, in and out. He knew the distance better than Leon did. And the wrestling, I mean, his timing on the entry was textbook. And I've been using that takedown. If you go back to watch my Benson Henderson fight, when you hit the high cross to the dump, when you can't get to the body lock and you're having struggles there, go to the high cross to the dump. I'm so surprised. It's been years. It's been, 2015, 2014 is when I fought Benson, something like that. 2013, 2014, whatever. That takedown is the easiest takedown to get when against the fence. This is the first time I've seen guys like this use it. It surprises me all the time.
Josh, the one thing that amazed me about Belal throughout this entire fight was every time that he decided to change levels and enter, his hands were so fast at getting together, which made it so much easier for him. He didn't take his hands and put them to the back of the legs, the back of the knees, and then start to climb his hands together. Right away, boom, his hands were together. That created the problem for Leon Edwards, and Leon was then in that position. He's all of a sudden getting light, and as soon as he's getting light, he knows he's going up. He's going for the ride. The way that Belal entered off what that change of levels and how fast he clasped his hands together was all the difference in this fight. It made it to where the takedowns came easy. Leon got frustrated. Everything that he was doing, and like you're saying, the speed, I would say, was comparable, which I was surprised by. I actually thought that Leon Edwards was going to be faster, but it was the use of his left hand, the jab that Belal used, and then that little sneaky uppercut that he threw multiple times and connected with. He did a great job. He confused Leon with all of the switching of stances, the back and forth from orthodox to southpaw. It was all beautifully done, and exactly what you're saying, the pressure that he created. He was almost pushing referee Mike Beltran out of the way at the start of every round. Mike Beltran couldn't get his goddamn fat ass out of the way before Belal was already going by. And you go, hey, he knew what he had to do. I need to put pressure on this guy. I can't give him a lot of space. I can't let him free range in the middle of the octagon. I've got to close that space on him and keep that pressure on him. And he did that for every round.
Yeah, the key, like you learn this is in terms of like just one of the first things you learn in elementary school or middle school as a wrestler. It's all about speed of finish. The wrestling doesn't even start until you get into the hips. Belal Muhammad did that tonight. As soon as he got in deep, clasped the hands right below the butt, right in the asshole,
just
right below that
incredible.
asshole, and just scooped and lift. As soon as you hang out there, you're giving the guy the opportunity to switch his hips left and right. You're giving the opportunity to either push the head down or dig the underhooks. It was about the speed of finish. He got in. He didn't sit there and hang out on the legs. He actually clasped the hands, like you said, stepped in, lifted and scooped, and put him away from the fence. Not enough fighters are doing that these days. They're still doing the old school, take him down against the fence, and they think they have an advantage there. They don't. And he's really kind of, we've said this before. We said it when he had him on. He even said it. I'm a way different fighter than I was in our first fight. And he proved that tonight.
Absolutely.
It was look, I'm not going to say
No
that he's the Floyd Mayweather of boxing now, because there was a lot of this stuff going around. He's sparring like Canelo, or he's doing this. Let's slow the roll a little bit, guys. Calm down. But the honest to God truth, he had the style on the feet. He outlanded him by 100 punches, I think, going into the fifth round, as I think was what Anik was saying. I mean, he had the it tonight. You know, when people are so dialed in and so focused, and I saw that a little bit in Leon's eyes walk into the cage. But after the first two rounds, I was like, "Ooh, maybe we're going to see something different." Then he won the third round.
Yeah.
Then he came out hard in the fourth, and then the tides turned again in the fourth. Lost the takedown, got his back taken. It was almost like, okay, I lost 3 rounds already. In fighters' minds, don't let any of them tell you we're keeping tabs.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, okay, I lost the first 2. Okay, I won the third. And then I got my back taken in the fourth. This fight's over unless I get the finish. You're mentally calculating, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? When he had that turn in the fifth round, John, postured up and landed the elbow, just needed to follow up a little bit more, stop smothering the space. But easier said than done. It's never easy. The guy, with Belal, he understood what was at stake. All I got to do is survive.
Let me ask you
10 more seconds.
Let me ask you that question.
Seconds.
How did you have it scored? Because there was 48-47 on 2 cards, 49-46. I had it at 49-46. You could not give that last round to Leon Edwards. There was too much of what Belal was doing with volume, little strikes, going after the chokes, all the little things that he did. Too much time on his back. And it was a beautiful elbow by Leon. But when we talk about damaging, it damaged him as far as it cut, but it did not come close to finishing him in the fight. He was not hurt as far as his brain got rattled. It was a good elbow. I really like it, but not enough to make up for all that happened in that fifth round before it.
Well, John, if you want me to answer that question, how did I have it scored? You're going to have to take my commands class, Kate, which is available next weekend.
Okay,
all right?
all right.
Okay, it's going to cost you about $4,000 though.
I'll be
Okay,
there.
Okay. But it's actually like somewhere far, far away. I don't know where it's at. I haven't booked it yet.
I'll find out.
When I do get it, okay, you're going to have to. I had it 4-1 going into
three to one going.
I didn't think that
3-1.
No, I had it 4-1 by the end of the fight. I had it 4-1.
Same thing. 49-46.
Yeah, I didn't have I didn't give Leon the last round.
Can't.
I thought it was just.
I mean, it was a beautiful elbow, but not enough to take over the round.
Well, yeah, I can't give it was 4 minutes and 20 seconds that he lost, and he won the last 40 seconds of the fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
he landed the best.
He
landed the best shot of the round.
Yes,
but that one shot was not enough as far as it damaged him. It cut the nose, no doubt about it, but it didn't hurt the brain to the point where Belal was in a position where he could have been finished.
Well, let me ask you this: if it was on the feet and there was a strike that cut him open and dropped him, would he have won the round?
Dropped him different because what is it showing that it did?
Yeah, it kind of blacked him out.
It affected his brain. You know,
okay.
That elbow
that
would have done the same thing in the stand-up. He would have accepted it. He would have gotten cut, but I don't think it would have dropped him.
Okay, so we're just going based off because of the cut. I mean, that wouldn't be enough.
No, not in my opinion.
Okay.
But you've got people that are going to look at it completely different. You got two judges that looked at it different because they had that. Having it 48-47. There's no round other than the third round and the fifth round you could even consider giving to Leon Edwards. So they had to give Leon Edwards that fifth round.
Well, John, you've got to think, right? I mean, if you would have had it Michael Bisping's way, he said there's a chance that Leon won the first round.
Well, there's also a chance that Belal Muhammad's new name is Rocky Edwards because DC said that as the end of his interview, and I went, oh, no. That is not good.
I can't believe he did that.
That is not good at all, man. You look and you go, DC, I love you, but how do you not see the difference in these gentlemen? But
they look exactly alike.
Yeah.
It was just.
You can look, and I can tell you that Ben Cartledge, as I'm looking at it, Ben Cartledge gave Leon Edwards the fifth round. And also, as I look here, hold on one sec, Derek Cleary was the smart man. He gave it to Belal Muhammad. And Clemens Werner gave. Oh, hold on. What he did? Clemens Werner also gave Muhammad the fifth round. So Derek Cleary had a score.
Two judges.
Derek Cleary had a score of 48-47. No, only one judge gave Edwards the fifth round. That is Ben Cartledge. But Derek Cleary gave Edwards the first round. I don't know how.
Oof.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
That's not.
I mean, look, I've said it before.
The two takedowns
like this,
and the elevation that he did those two takedowns with. Yeah, there was a moment that, Rocky got, a couple of things in, but you got to look, even the striking, I give a little edge to Belal on that, and he had the two beautiful takedowns. I thought he won the round.
John, I go into this, I say this all the time. There's almost a mystique sometimes about champions that come in. Like GSP, I always felt like he automatically won the first round if it was a close fight. GSP, John Jones, there's just fighters that when they walk in, they've been champion for so long, it was almost like they automatically won the first round.
Yeah.
And most people say, oh, well, they get that championship. You got to beat the champion, that kind of thing. It just feels like that first round always seems to go to the champion because they look more relaxed out there. They look more composed. They let the fight develop. They know when to to pick their shots. That normally is what happened. But tonight, I didn't get that at all. I got like Belal came out with, like you said, he rushed across the cage to close the distance.
I could not believe how fast he started that fight, the pressure that he was putting on, and the pace that both guys were putting on in that first round. You take a look at everything that was going on there, and you're going, this is the first round of 5. Man, they're going after it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what also, too, Leon also understands, or not Leon, but Belal also understands that when it got into that fifth round, just keep my hands up. Don't fall into this relaxation like Kamaru Usman did where like something wild happens. Just keep my hands up. Stick with what I'm doing. Don't change what's going on. Don't make myself a stand-up guy. Land the shots, get in, get the clinch, control the position. That's exactly what he did. He lost the position at the last 45 seconds. Yeah. I mean, had it been another minute or so, he maybe would have lost the fight. Could have maybe got finished. You never know. But what I've said for the longest time, I'm a huge fan of Leon. But Leon also, too, I feel falls victim to some of that. He's an explosive fighter.
Yeah.
And explosive fighters do what, John?
They
They tend to be explosive in spurts, and they tend to get tired. Yeah. And I don't know if there's anything you can do to remedy that. You know, they're so fast. They're so quick. Everything they do is so fast twitch, and they tend to get tired as the fight goes on. Well, we've seen it from tons of fighters. All explosive, fast twitch, muscle fibered fighters are that way.
There's no doubt at the end, like, he was tired. But I was so impressed with what he was able to do in that fight as far as the pace that was put on by Belal to match it as far as, he was and so much wrestling that he was trying to defend things on. That was a taxing fight if you're Leon Edwards. And he was still there in the 5th round. So I give him credit. He was in shape. He's obviously that fast twitch muscle fiber athlete. He's going to have problems as, keeping up with a pace of someone like Belal. But I thought he had to be in tremendous condition to put on the performance that he did as far as everything that was going on in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Belal outpunted the coverage. People didn't give him the respect he deserved. They took too much away from that one round or whatever.
No doubt about it. We talked about that.
Yeah, I'm like, people are taking way too much from that fight. The fight hadn't even developed yet. One round is not enough. Yeah. You won't start to figure what else is going on in a fight, especially in a 5-round fight. What's going on? And so in that moment, in this time, whatever, Belal didn't get the respect he deserves. And like I said, both of them since that fight are completely different fighters. Completely different. Yeah. But Belal came out tonight laser focused. He was on a mission. All the interviews he's done, he talked himself into a championship. He willed and talked himself into believing that he could be champion. And tonight he proved that he could be. Dominated the champion. And I felt like he dominated him in every aspect. On the feet, he outstruck him by 100-something strikes. And then the wrestling, he dominated those positions. He made one mistake in the wrestling positions in the 3rd round, got his back taken, got stuck there. That's common. You're dealing with guys that are so fun. They're so good. Leon is good on the ground. Yes. And he showed that tonight when he took the back, controlled the back for the whole round. I mean, he just didn't get to the finish. I was expecting him to go for that armbar transition, though. He kept reaching over the head, at least with 10 seconds left to see if something was there. It just never went for it. I figured there's nothing. I've always said this. There's nothing. You got nothing to lose at 10 seconds.
No, you don't. And you're not going to. And you're not going to be stuck underneath. So go for it. No, give it a shot.
I mean, and plus he had already won the round.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He'd already won the round. He'd already dominated the round. I guess I could have got into these positions where there was never a clear-cut like submission threat from either one of them, but you could have said domination, having the back for 4.5 minutes or whatever it was, could be a 10-8 round. I just didn't see any real submission threats enough to give
not enough quality submission threats, not enough damage. You really got to look in this. It's the 3 Ds when we go into a 10-8. It's that domination, duration, or damage. But you really
is that what 3 Ds really stands for?
That's what the 3 Ds stand for in MMA. But you really got to look and say, you got to have that damage. The damage is the most important element if you're going to start giving those 10-8s out. And so you look at it and you go, hey, a lot of control, a lot of domination of position, but not enough damage to get it to pull in those 10-8s.
Yeah. Well, John, I mean, like overall, though, I thought it was a great performance by Belal Muhammad. Leon's going to have to go back to the drawing board, figure it out. Here's the thing. I don't expect people to go back and go, you know what, though? Like, the groundwork's been laid. Now we know how to beat Leon. I'm sorry, but people are not going to be able to mimic what Belal did.
Well,
what he did was the pressure.
You can, but it's not going to be easy because you got to have the cardio to be able to pressure someone that extensively throughout a 25-minute fight.
Yeah, but look, I'm going to say, like, the guy that everyone would have said would have done that was Colby, right? But here's the thing. With Colby, his striking's trash. It's been trash. His striking was never like Belal's at this moment. Like, he leans over to one side. He kind of throws loopy punches. But that all helps set up his takedowns because the punches are coming from wild different directions. Yeah. And he had the cardio and condition to do it. He just didn't utilize it in that fight. So I don't know what the problem was with him. But I would have said out of all of them, that would have been the only one to lay down the groundwork to be able to do what Belal did tonight. Now, I can't say that with Shavkat that I've seen a big enough sample size. Everyone's buzzing about him out of Kill Cliff Gym. And everyone talks about how damn good he is.
It should be.
And Ian Gary is following suit. But those guys, I don't see, like, Shavkat maybe can have the pressure and the condition to do it, but just Shavkat, we haven't seen him in the 4th and 5th round.
That's right.
So, and so will he be able to withstand Belal for 4 and 5 rounds if he can't get Belal out of there in the 2nd or 3rd
Well,
round?
we have
there's questions to be answered.
Yeah, well,
there.
we've seen Shavkat as far as he's been pushed. Jeff Neal definitely pushed him in that fight. Now, you ended up, at the end getting the finish and stuff, and you look and you go, hey, he's the real deal. Does he slow down? Sure, he slows down a little bit, but I do think that he is of the making that a 4 or 5 round fight, he's going to be fine in. But you take a look right now, he's the boogeyman that everyone is kind of worried about. No one has defeated him. There is no blueprint on how to beat him. He is good everywhere. His wrestling is good. His striking is good. But right now, you've got to give Belal Muhammad the credit he deserves, and that he deserves to be the champ. He's had an incredible win streak. He has now gone and beaten the champion in Leon Edwards, and he has continued to improve. That's the whole key to everything. We talk about it all the time. When you have a fighter who is continuing to, be 36 years of age and still improving in his skill set, getting better at everything that makes an MMA fighter be the champion, that's what you're looking for. And right now, I'm not saying that Shavkat isn't the boogeyman and that he couldn't beat Belal. That's a possibility. But he's going to have to put on one hell of a performance to beat that guy that we saw tonight.
No, I agree. Here's my concern, though, John. It's going to always be my concern with fighters that have gotten older and they've got to that peak. They feel like there's an opportunity to rest. I achieved my goal. I've done everything. I finally got there. I finally won the title.
What's the one thing you haven't got?
Take a deep breath.
What's the one thing you haven't got?
What's that?
Money.
I know.
And now's your time to. This is my moment. Now's my time to get my big pay, but I gotta stay the champion.
Yeah, I get it. But there's also that moments where they take the deep breath and go, "Okay, I did everything I need to do. All the hard work is done."
True.
No, this is when the hard work starts.
It should be.
This is when it starts. But look, I'm not saying that this is going to happen to him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying though is I want to see how this progresses. Like. You got Shavkat, you got Ian Gary, you got Sean Brady, who looked phenomenal his last fight. And I know that Belal beat him, but I think that Sean Brady has made it clear, like, look, that wasn't me. It wasn't my night, but I'm going to be better. And he came out looking way better in his next fight. And I look to see him make a resurgence as well. Sure. So there's a lot of good fights at the top there. I think still, mainly the two that everyone keeps talking. I'd like to see the Colby fight too. I know, but I'm tired of seeing Colby in the title fight. So maybe after if Belal ever does lose it, maybe we can see that. But Shavkat, Ian Gary is there, and then obviously Sean Brady again.
Yeah. Well, to me, it was a great performance by both guys. It was a fantastic championship fight. Both guys fought their asses off. That's what you're looking for out of a main event like this. You're looking for those guys that, they don't quit. They never give in. They never stop trying. They never are finished until the very end when that final bell goes off, and then they're done. But I thought, Belal put on just a masterful performance overall.
For all you guys that were in the comments doubting him, okay, go back and watch our interview again. Go back and watch our interview again. Outside of him saying he was going to finish him in the 3rd and then start talking to the corner, look, he was so laser focused tonight. He looked phenomenal. Did everything he said he was going to do. He was going to control position. He was going to outstrike him. He's going to do all these things. He landed more strikes. You can't say he didn't outstrike him. He landed 100 more strikes than him. He fought his fight. He was in his groove tonight. Give the man some love, man. Show him some respect. Put some respect on his name.
Well, he's been saying that for a long time.
Remember the name.
Remember the name,
it's
baby.
Belal, remember the name, Muhammad. There you go. So it's there. Let's go ahead and go to the co-main event. You got Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. John, remember we were doing the Bet US odds. Remember for round 2, it was like 3,400 or something like that. I can see why.
I think that was a
Matrix
typo.
Did it to us again.
Yeah,
I think it was a typo also, but the Matrix got us again, John.
Always.
They just knew round 1. But why didn't Curtis Blaydes try to wrestle? Why?
Because I
just do it, man.
I don't think it would have made a difference. I don't, and this is nothing against Curtis Blaydes. Curtis is a very good heavyweight fighter. He's a great, addition as far as the UFC. He's that guy that can, seemingly beat just about everyone in the heavyweight division. And he does have the win against Tom Aspinall, but that really wasn't a win. You know, when a guy steps back and blows out his knee, you know, you didn't do it. He did it. And so I look and when I looked at this fight and when we talked about it, both of us said, look, I just don't see any way that Curtis Blaydes beats Tom Aspinall now. There's just a difference. Tom Aspinall is a different fighter. We're talking about a heavyweight that has big time power in his hands. He's got good speed. He is fast for a heavyweight. He's got very good movement. His wrestling is good. His ground game is good. There's not a lot of holes in Aspinall's game. So when you're going to take a look at where am I going to take advantage of this guy, I've got to be better in an area as far as I've got to be faster than him and be able to, you know, I need to put shots on him and make him miss or something to that effect, or be so good in the wrestling that I can take him down and control him, which is not going to be easy because anytime you're trying to hold a 265-pound person down, it's much more difficult to hold that person down than it is a 155-pound person, just based upon the size of everything that they're doing, the explosiveness, the power that they can do. It's just a difficult task. And so I looked at, you know, this fight and I go, it went about the way that I thought. And that's no disrespect to Curtis. He got put down by a stiff jab. And then those shots, you know, that was a knockout. He got put unconscious. He got knocked back in, but he got knocked unconscious, then put back, you know, brought back. Mm-hmm. And that was the hand speed of Tom Aspinall. Once he got the back, you know, you cannot be a heavyweight fighter and not see the shots coming. You can't sustain them. Nobody can. There's too much weight, too much power on those shots. They're going to put anybody out.
If I'm John Jones, I'm taking this fight as soon as possible.
Whose fight?
I'm taking the Tom Aspinall fight as soon as possible.
Boy, I don't think so.
This is why I'm saying this, because this guy's going to only get better. That's one.
Oh, yeah.
Two is he showed tonight in the first minute and a half that he still makes rookie mistakes. Lunging in on some of those shots, left himself out of position, got hit with some good shots because he was lunging in, being over aggressive because of the crowd.
Exactly. And this is, you also have to look all of that crowd. Who are they there for? He's one of the guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's one of the guys.
We talked about this on the midweek show.
They're Patty. They're there for him. They're there for Leon. But you take a look at Curtis Blaydes is a big heavyweight, and he hits fairly hard. He's got decent power on his hands. If there's one thing that John Jones was not blessed with, it is big time power in his shots. He's a volume striker. And Tom Aspinall is a guy that you can't be a volume striker against unless you can just keep on putting and then move and get away from him. He's got too much power in his hands and he can hurt you with one shot. And that's where I look. I don't care if John Jones fights him now or not. That's a fight that John Jones is going to have problems. John Jones has always had problems with fighters that are his size. He's great against guys that are shorter, stockier, that he can take and he can use his range and length against. But, and not that he doesn't have wins. He obviously has got wins against Gustafsson. He's had a second win. The first one was the close fight. The second one wasn't close. He learned how, and John is smart. He learned how to deal with exactly what, Alexander does. But you can look at the Dominic Reyes fight, a guy that is close to his size as far as height and reach, gave him problems. Well, guess what? Tom Aspinall is not only close, he's bigger. And that's going to give John a lot of problems because I'm telling you right now, and you know it, Tom Aspinall is faster than John Jones.
He is.
Okay.
He is. But John's not a super fast guy.
No, he's not.
He's not. And I would agree. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you there. I'm simply saying I look at this as a Floyd Mayweather Canelo fight. Get him now while he's young, while he's still making rookie mistakes.
That moment has passed.
I don't think so.
I think it has.
I don't think so. I think that also, too, we haven't seen a big enough sample size of Tom Aspinall. We haven't seen him in the 4th and 5th round.
No.
John Jones has been there.
You know why?
Because other heavyweights are not as good.
No one can get him there.
You're right, but John Jones will get him there.
We'll see.
Look, here's the thing. John has something that these other guys don't have. Those knees to the body, those oblique kicks. Like he's a better athlete than all the guys that Tom Aspinall's fought.
Okay.
Name one of those guys that's an athlete like John Jones. They're not even on the roster. Okay. There's none of them. You get down to like 70 and they're finding there's an athlete there that might be as good as John Jones athletically. Okay. But outside of that, none of those guys. Izzy, all of them, none of them are as good as good as an athlete as John Jones. It's not until you get to the lighter guys where they're real athletes down there with the lighter guys. Okay, that's where all the real athletes are. But it's just the thing is, John.
I love you.
Look, I've been tooting Tom Aspinall's horn since he walked into the cage for the first time. Yeah. I was so happy to see a heavyweight move like a lightweight. Jiu-jitsu wise is on track. I was like, always a guy that has good jiu-jitsu in the heavyweight division with some striking and movement, lateral movement. Can I get some lateral movement from these heavyweights? Yeah. Not just plodding forward heavyweights that just want to knock you out. No, this guy has it all. I still look at him though in the baby steps. He is the Canelo Alvarez about to fight the Floyd Mayweather with the experience.
I will agree. I agree with you. The fact that when you say at this point he's still a baby in his career, I agree.
Absolutely.
He's gonna be getting much better as time goes on. And I agree with you. I understand your philosophy on why John Jones should take him now. You have a better chance of getting past him now and saying, I never have to fight him again, and saying I've got to win against him. Absolutely. But I do think that time has passed. Floyd Mayweather made the right call at the right time against Canelo. John Jones has wasted time in saying, I want to fight with Stipe Miocic, where he could have gotten that earlier fight with Tom Aspinall and used all of his experience and made someone who makes mistakes pay for those mistakes, which John is great at. I absolutely agree with you. I think he could have gotten a win. And I'm just being honest. When I look at it now, now's when I go, oh, the younger man against the older man. Because now John is not the younger man. He's the older man. And not that he's old, but he has had a multitude of problems in his career as far as now he's had injuries. He's had a lot of delays between his fights. And so time is passing and he's not getting better.
Yeah.
He is maintaining.
I would agree with you're right. But even maintaining, he's still 98%.
Absolutely.
Better
I agree
than
with you.
everybody on the roster.
I agree with you.
So there's that. Yeah. And secondly, this. As much as I love the fact that I just brought it up, is Tom Aspinall's phenomenal in grappling from the top position and from the bottom. That shit ain't gonna work against John Jones.
No, he's not gonna.
That's exactly where that.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's gonna out grapple John on the ground to where John can't get away or reverse the position.
Take him down.
We'll see. He's taking down a big man. It's a whole different game. It's not taking down Cyril Gahn. There's a whole different system there. You know that.
John, heavyweights don't get up like other people either. So that's the thing. Look, he's good off of his back. Tom Aspinall is. But look, one thing that John does, because of his long limbs and his long legs, he's hard to sweep. So, and then working on submissions there, he's not as fast and aggressive off of his. He's got great attacks from his back, but he's not Vitor Belfort fast. He's not that fast off of his back. He's not swinging for an armbar that fast. He
better not, because Vitor Belfort was able to swing for that armbar on John and caught him.
And caught him. Did not to the tap, but close enough.
Well, I'll tell you what. John, though, trust me, John at the end of that was like, I probably should have tapped because my arm's fucked up.
But John on top, elbows, long range strikes. Aspinall's got to work his way back up to his feet as fast as possible.
Sure.
You don't want to be hanging out on the bottom, because John has the ability to still stand over you and still punch you, because his arms are so damn long. What, 84 inches, what you said?
84-inch reach.
Jeez, man.
It's phenomenal.
That's like my Johnson.
Yeah, 84 fucking millimeters.
Whatever, still 84 something, right? Still 84
thing.
something. But so look, there's obviously been a lot of talk about that fight. Do we think we ever see the Stipe fight, or do you think John goes right into fighting Tom Aspinall?
No, I think he's going to go for the Stipe fight, and I don't think you're going to ever see John Jones fight Tom Aspinall. I don't think that's a fight we ever see.
What happens if Stipe just doesn't, like, if Dana's just like, you know what, this is it. Like, I can't keep waiting for this to happen. Stipe, John, like, well, I need to make this.
I want you to think about this. If this plays out the way that they're pushing it right now, John is going to fight Stipe when? November. In New York in November. Okay? So now right there alone, you're talking about a good 4 to 5 months before that fight happens. Depends on if it's at the beginning of November or near the end of November. But 4 to 5 months right there. And then you got to give John Jones time to rest. So now it's going into 2025. More time away. So you're going to see Tom Aspinall fight again within that time because he's not going to just sit around and wait.
He's going to get better.
He's going to get better, and he's going to go out and fight somebody else. So we'll say that John gets the win. John gets a win against a 42-year-old man, okay? And then he now is in a position where Tom Aspinall's had not only this fight, he's had another fight, and he's gotten better. It's not the way to go about fighting Tom Aspinall.
It's one thing to win the title, like for someone like a Tom Aspinall, but people need to understand that it is a huge confidence boost when you defend it. It's even bigger now that, okay, now I belong here. I know I belong here. The confidence will be key. Fighting now there will be that shock and awe factor. If Tom Aspinall steps inside that cage with John Jones, you will get a little bit of that shock. Tom Aspinall will be a little bit in, I don't want to say.
There'll be respect.
Like starstruck. There might be a little bit too much respect. You know, and you may lose the first round or whatever it is because of that. Or you may come out trying to disrespect them, letting them know that there's no starstruck there. And that could cost them too. I'm of the notion that John has that effect, like how GSP had the effect on a lot of his opponents. The first round is almost always gone because they're like, oh my God, I'm fighting John Jones. Oh my God, I'm fighting GSP. Tom may have it, Tom may not have it. But what I saw tonight was still some rookie mistakes in that first minute and a half.
He got hit a couple times. No doubt about it.
He got hit a couple times. He was lunging in a little bit, trying to rush the action. That's still rookie stuff, John. So if he would have made a couple mistakes like that against John Jones, Jones would have capitalized on the takedown. He would have capitalized from the top position. It would have changed the dynamic of the fight right off the bat for a rookie. And it would have just changed the way that rookie started looking at like, oh shit, now I'm on bottom against John Jones. Versus in this fight, it wasn't that. It was like, okay, look, if I get taken down, I can hit submissions. Curtis Blaydes is good on top. He's not great on top. There was just a lot. There's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I thought Tom fought a great fight. Looked fantastic tonight. I think that John needs to jump on Aspinall sooner rather than later because every fight that he gets, he starts to get better. Yeah. Tom Aspinall does.
That's my whole point. One guy is improving with every fight, and he's already the guy that I think is the best. Not that he's the best of all time. That is John Jones. But there comes that point where the scale flips and you're on the downside of it. And I think at this point, John's going to be on the downside of that matchup with Tom.
And I blame a lot of that from just the inactivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 years
absolutely.
away, and then comes back one fight, then gets injured. Now he's been out for another year.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time, John. I get it.
That's the whole point.
All right, next fight, Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green.
God damn it. It was one of those, a couple of things that, as they were in the cage, you looked and you went, God damn, Paddy's a lot bigger than Bobby Green. And then
I even tweeted about that.
And when Bobby was moving forward and trying to land shots, you could see, the size was giving him problems as far as just getting that range finder. His ability to control the distance wasn't there. And I thought Paddy was just taking his time, being very smart, being respectful of what Bobby can do, but taking his little shots, his little kicks on the legs, all good stuff, just getting himself just into the fight and getting into a flow. And then when Bobby went for the takedown, first off, Bobby normally doesn't go for takedowns. He goes for the takedown, and he can wrestle. We've seen Bobby wrestle before, but he's not a good submission guy. And the one thing that we talked about on the show is, look, if Paddy's going to win this fight, he's going to win it on the ground. And as soon as it hit the ground, I went, that's not a good thing for Bobby. And look where his head's at. And I kept on saying, you need to step around. You need to come around. You can't sit there. In that, he didn't do that. He sat there. And eventually, Paddy locked it up tighter, right? And, Bobby goes out, and then he gets his arm popped on top of it. He was out. You could see when he went out, it was a little bit of a slow stoppage on him. The referee didn't notice exactly when he went out. Sometimes, and then what'll happen with that is, I know Lucas, he's a very nice person. Lucas is an international referee, comes from Poland. But he started looking so closely at Bobby in that triangle. He's looking at what we call the micro. He starts looking at a face. And when the face doesn't change expression, you're not seeing the entire body. You can see through the, when you're watching it on TV, you can see the body and you see the body go limp.
Mm-hmm.
You see the body relax and it's telling you he's out. But Lucas, I don't think, saw the body. He was looking more towards the face, and that made him a little slow with it. Paddy then grabs the arm, extends the arm, and he definitely damaged the arm because you could tell, because at the end of it, Bobby was keeping that right arm down by his side because it was not feeling good. So Great win for Paddy Pimblett. You got to give him credit. He went out there, 2 guys in a row that are veteran fighters, 2 guys that have had great careers. Tony Ferguson first and now Bobby Green. He went out. He's performed against him. He put on great performance against Tony Ferguson, and he just put on a phenomenal performance by being a guy that submitted Bobby Green.
I thought this was the best he looked. He looked the most relaxed out of all of his performances tonight. Yeah. He looked composed. Bobby looked a lot smaller. That's 1. 2, Bobby looked a lot slower than him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, slower. It just looked like he couldn't. The speed was there, but it was the shots weren't even close to coming into contact on a lot of them.
That might have been because of the size and the reach. Bobby seemed like he was so much further away. Yeah. Maybe that's because he seemed a lot smaller. Yeah. He just couldn't find the range. Yeah. Paddy was able to move in and out of range, maybe because of the reach. I don't know. It was one of those things that I could tell right off the bat. Bobby didn't look comfortable out there. That's why he wrestled.
Yeah, that's exactly why. You're absolutely right.
He couldn't find that range, and every time he had to lunge in, Paddy was able to hit him. And I think he was like, man, what the hell is going on with me, man? Like, I'm normally the guy putting the shots on this dude. So, I mean, it was kind of a shocking fight for me, honestly. I was thinking that I was expecting Bobby to pressure him a little bit more and make Paddy fight very uncomfortable. Paddy looked so composed.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm not worried. Like, nothing you're going to do. And when he shot when Bobby shot the double leg, he went right to the arm and guillotine, went from that to throwing the other arm down and then throwing the leg over the shoulder and getting right to the triangle. It was so quick in transition. The ref was really late to the stoppage. Now I agree with, John, it was probably a good 7-8 seconds where he was asleep already. I mean, it was a while.
I'm not going to say it was 7 or 8, but it was a good 4. And that's a long time. It's a long time. I'm not saying that it's not Lucas's best performance. He was slow in it. I know why he was slow. You don't ever want to be slow. If you're going to sit there and say, well, is that what I'm going to hang my hat on? No, definitely not. But we're human. And what'll happen is, like I said, you start to focus in on one thing, and that one thing doesn't change. And so you're not getting the information you need, where you need to take your eyes, take them off of that one thing and start to look at what I call, instead of the micro, you're looking at the macro, you're looking at the whole package, and you'll see that the body is going to tell you exactly when he goes unconscious. But when you're not looking at the body and you're just looking at the face, you can have it where you don't see it.
Yeah, I think look, I'm giving him a hard time, but look, overall, I have to think in terms of the crowd's going crazy. There's 15,000 people in the arena making a ton of noise. The fighter, you're looking at the fighter hitting the armbar. If the technique's right, is the elbow in the right spot? Because if it's not in the right spot, I'm not really looking to stop it because of the armbar. The triangle's tight, obviously, but he kind of looks like he's still fighting it. That's because his body was spasming because he'd been choked out for so long. Yeah. But I'm just
it was a while. I admit it.
When he went to the armbar, Bobby was out.
Oh, no doubt.
And the arm just went straight, nice and easy. And you're like, okay, I know. And so I get it, but maybe we can fly Lucas in quickly for tomorrow's command class so we can get this thing figured out. So this doesn't happen again. But Lucas, giving you a hard time, buddy. It happens.
It does.
I get it. Look, we've seen way, way worse.
Absolutely.
Not just in submissions, but we've seen worse in knockout stoppages. We've seen way worse in a ton of things. Yeah. But yeah, I just felt like that was one of those fights where it all happened so fast. The shot, the arm and guillotine, triangle right to there, boom. Then the grabbing inside the leg, finishing it, going to the armbar. But look, I can't take anything away from Paddy, man. He looked good tonight. Yeah. He looked on point. He looked huge for the weight. He looked relaxed out there. He's growing.
Paddy Pimblett has proven that, you know what, he belongs. He is able to take on guys that have had great careers. Obviously, they're past their prime, but it's the UFC. This is who they're giving him.
Give him some love, John. Let's not throw that in
They're
there. Past their prime.
Well,
Let's not
come
do
on.
that
You're
to
not
him.
going to say Tony Ferguson
He's
is
a young
past his
stud.
prime.
Let him.
You're not going to say Tony's past his prime. Come on. Let's be honest. Take a look at what's happened in the record.
He is past.
Bobby
Bobby
was someone you could look at and say, look, Bobby's still got a lot of, oomph in his career. He's still able to beat a lot of good guys. Just Patty was better on this night. And so you got to give Patty Pimblett. He's in the rankings now. But life, I do love, I'm going to tell you right now, I loved his call out. His call out of Moicano, fantastic. Perfect fight. Love that fight.
That's a tough fight, though.
That is a tough fight.
Tough fight. John.
I love it. He's not asking for an easy one.
Yeah.
And can
it's a tough fight.
Can you imagine that?
There is no easy ones in the lightweight division. There's no easy ones in the lightweight division.
Can you imagine the banter back and forth between Patty Pimblett and fucking Renato Moicano? Come on.
Yeah. Two guys I'll never be able to understand because their accents are so fucked up.
I love Moicano. I just dude, he is fantastic. He is so fun to listen to. Yeah.
But John, half the time I have to like put it on closed caption so I can understand what
you got to hit the translate button.
Yeah, I do. And the same thing with Patty too. There's some things I'm like, what did he just say?
Oh, dude.
But
he's a scouser.
I do enjoy it. Yeah. I do enjoy it. He's a scouser.
All
right. Next fight, Gregory Rodrigues versus Leroy Duncan.
Boy, what about again? I thought beautiful performance by Gregory Rodrigues. Fought exactly like we said he had to.
Yeah,
he was smart. He fought tough in the stand-up, threw good hard shots, and then went for the takedown. Put Duncan on the ground, especially in the first round. And look, put up by the end, that big old egg. I said, yep, that would hurt. It's a good old elbow right there. But I got to give it to Duncan, man. He kept on coming back round after round and trying. He was going after spinning attacks, going after, the spinning elbows and stuff, trying to land the big shot. It just never happened for him. Gregory Rodrigues was just too good overall. Too much power in his hands at times because he had him turning, away at times. And then the ground game, it was his downfall. It's not that Duncan actually didn't look much better than I thought he would against someone like Rodrigues on the ground. It's just that he basically couldn't do anything against Rodrigues once he was there. Rodrigues was able to basically dominate the positions.
There's like Belal Muhammad. I get the feeling from Belal as well. I get the feeling from Gregory Rodrigues that when you kick them, like Roman Dolidze, when you kick them or hit them, it probably hurts you more than it hurts them.
Good.
They have that body that just seems like it just hurts every time you touch them. And it looked like with Duncan, he was surprised that every time he hit him, that it probably hurt his fist and his body more than it hurt Rodrigues. Because some of the first exchanges, I was like, Rodrigues was just like RoboCop, just walking through everything he did. Yeah. It was like, boom, I'm good. Boom, I'm good. And the takedown, the control, the top position. I'm like, oh, this is going to get nasty. And then every round, Gregory Rodrigues just started looking like, okay, look, I'm okay to stand with you now. You're not hitting me as hard. I'm not taking as much damage. Sure, you got a little cut up in some
areas. Couple of those elbows were beautifully placed.
Yeah. But Rodrigues landed a couple good elbows as well.
No doubt about it.
They had some good, tight, nice exchanges on the feet, which is, to me, honestly.
Dude, they almost looked like the same guy out there.
Okay. They pretty much did.
Yeah.
It
was crazy.
They pretty much did.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed with the way that they were utilizing every tool, like Rodrigues with the grappling and the wrestling, and Duncan with the fighting the takedowns, and then the way that they were exchanging the kicks, the inside calf kick, the outside calf kick, the elbows, the uppercuts. They were using every tool in the box in a true MMA fight, and it was actually very pleasurable to watch. I enjoyed watching these two get after it. I thought it was very one-sided. I thought Rodrigues won.
Oh yeah,
every round.
Yeah.
But it was still, there was moments where I knew.
But it was still those moments you thought there's a possibility Duncan could make that turn.
Because all Duncan had to do was land one good shot. It could have changed the dynamic of the fight at any moment.
Yeah.
Just overall, a great fight. Very fun fight to watch. I was excited. I was very happy about the fight, man. It was actually a better fight than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze.
I didn't get to see much of the fight. I saw the ending. I didn't see the first round. and I didn't see where most of the second round. I saw a little bit of the second round, third round, and with what I saw, it wasn't what I was told happened in the first round. So I'll let you talk about that fight.
I mean, the fight was big. Let me just wrap it all up real quick. I mean, it seemed like every round was pretty much the same. Giga was trying to fight off of his back foot, and Arnold Allen was just putting relentless pressure, almost like the Belal Muhammad pressure. Where I've continued to say is, Arnold Allen, dude, you are an MMA fighter. Use your wrestling just a tad, because he was landing some nice hard shots. He was landing some clean shots, but it was a way tougher fight. He made it a way tougher fight by not utilizing his wrestling at all, John. Like, didn't even threaten it. And the guy can wrestle. Yeah. He's got the body style to wrestle. He can get up from takedowns. He understands the wrestling aspect of the MMA game. And the one time to use it where there's real no threat of like, okay, I'm going to get reversed and submitted would be Giga Chikadze. And you should have used it a little bit. And that would have made even Giga a little bit more hesitant to throw anything, like any more kicks, all that stuff. Instead, he fought him just relentlessly, walking him down, almost running after him at times, and just throwing long shots. And it was a fun fight to watch. It was more Arnold Allen chasing after him, trying to touch him, and Giga trying to make sure his back didn't hit the fence and his back foot didn't hit the fence. And he was fighting off of his back foot, trying to throw 1-2 shots and not get taken down, expecting the takedown to eventually come. Never came.
Did you feel Giga won the first round, or
no?
Arnold won the first round?
I thought Arnold did. I thought Arnold won the first round.
Because the people that I was around told me that Giga won the first round. Arnold took over in the second and third.
No, I had Arnold win all three rounds.
Yeah, see, I didn't get to see that round, but I could tell you that he absolutely, he was doing better in the second round, and he definitely won the third round that I watched.
Unless I missed something. I had 40 kids running around me at one point during the
40
prelim fights.
40?
Yeah,
we
took my daughter over to one of her classmates' houses and had something.
What, do you have a preschool?
Nah, there was a lot of little kids around 5 years old running around in the pool and everywhere. So unless I missed Arnold getting rocked or knocked down in the first, I don't think I did though. But I had Arnold winning all three rounds.
Okay.
John, is there any prelims you want to talk about? Look, Nathaniel Wood fought phenomenal fight. He was on point, every aspect of the fight. Look, Pineda had his moments in the fight.
Yeah.
But he just didn't have enough of them. And then Nathaniel Wood just dominated, whether it was grappling, whether it was striking. He was winning the exchanges more technically on the feet, whereas Pineda was landing the harder, cleaner shots in the beginning, but then got tired. And so then it just turned into Wood, Nathaniel Wood just taking over.
Yeah. And then, when we talk about Nathaniel Wood, he is that guy that, man, pressure-wise, he's outstanding. His wrestling is good. He is a guy that continues to go after you. And look, Daniel Pineda is a veteran fighter who's had a ton of fights. He's had some very good competition in his career. But he's that guy at this point. A guy like Nathaniel Woods is going to be a very difficult fight for him. Not that he can't beat him, but it's not going to be an easy win for him to get because Nathaniel Woods is just getting better. This is a guy that was a bantamweight that now at the featherweights, he's really putting it all together.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the commentary too. They were saying that he just feels a lot better at the featherweight position. He was killing himself to get to bantamweight.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Absolutely,
makes sense.
This is one of those things that's not always better to be the guy that's dropping down and I want to be the bigger fighter. When you don't have gas and you don't feel good and you're running out of steam in the fight because you're losing so much weight, it doesn't make you a better fighter.
Bruna Brasil and Molly McCann. Bruna Brasil, she just had the range. She used her long arms, long reach, all that stuff to her advantage. Molly had some moments in the fight, but it was more of Bruna Brasil having the better striking, just better all the way around, a little bit better wrestling, all those things. And Molly just couldn't find the range, couldn't get inside the pocket enough to land the harder shots. I was cheering for her, rooting for her to get it done. But, I mean, physically, she looks great. She's just struggling against those fighters that have the long limbs, long arms. And I've continued to, I'll always say that
nothing you can do about
body
that.
Style is great. Yeah, that body style is good for the sport. Yeah. It's so difficult to get past the kicks, the push kicks, the oblique kicks, the head kicks, all of those things, the long range jab. If you got that long range, those long limbs, if you can use a push kick and the long jab, man, it seems like your job's so much easier. So much easier. Jake Hadley And how do you say his name? Loughran?
Loughran.
Loughran? Is it Loughran?
Yeah, Loughran.
I don't think it's Loughran.
The thing is
Is it?
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Loughran or Loughran or whatever. Loughran.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought Hadley looked good. He took the fight on short notice. Output was good. Was doing some good stuff. I started looking at Loughran, whatever. He was built like a brick shit house.
Yes, he is.
Muscular wise, all of those things. But he was waiting for the opportunity to land the big shot, and Hadley never gave it to him. He's like, no, I'm going to stay right outside your range. Sure, he took some big shots, but it just felt like he was like that Loughran, whatever, was looking for the knockout. And it just never came. Hadley just fought a good fight, a very textbook stylistic fight that worked good for him on the judges' scorecards. It was very good. Did you, the Manel Kape and Muhammad Mokaev
I did get to see a little bit of that fight. Was not the fight we expected. You got all this stuff, that supposedly happens. You have the incident at the UFC PI here in Vegas. That one supposedly happens. Then you have the things that happen there in Manchester at the hotel, and you look and you go, how stupid are you guys? What the fuck are you doing? Grow up and be smart about this. But, when you have young people, sometimes this is what can happen as far as they're now fighting for free. So you look and you go, well, how many times have we talked about many times when you have those fighters that hate each other, that they want to, supposedly kill each other. They go into the cage and they don't want to make the mistake, so they don't really fight because they don't want to look bad against this person. And the fight ends up being a snoozer. Guess what? The fight ended up being a snoozer.
I pretty much feel that every time two people really hate each other, it ends up being one of the worst fights ever. Yeah. The worst fights ever. It's very rare that you find a fight where two guys are actually comfortable with each other that ends up being a boring fight, outside of the Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou fight. Pretty much all the other fights that I've ever seen where fighters respected each other, they end up being, semi-decent fights. But when two fighters hate each other, they end up being snooze fights.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Neither one of them wants to make a mistake.
That's it.
Neither one wants to give the other fighter the bride.
Exactly. I don't want to. I'm not going to look bad against you, so I'm not going to take a lot of chances. Great. Exactly. Now we got a boring fight.
Yeah. Well, I sent something over to George. You pull that up.
Beep, 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 beep. Breaking news from the post-fight press conference. Dana White comments on Mokaev and says, PFL is going to have a great undefeated guy. Good luck to him.
Okay. God damn, I knew this. I had gotten a text before I was able to see the fight from Mike Beltran. And he said, hey, did you see what happened? You believe that I handled it right and stuff? I'm like, shit, I don't know. I didn't get to see it. So I'm on my phone. And I watched and I went, oh, God damn. We have an incident where Mokaev does something. And you look and you go, how stupid are you? Okay. And also, should Mike Beltran have given a warning or should he have taken points? There's no doubt I would have taken points from him. Look, you want to act like an idiot in my sport and do something to try to embarrass someone or something. I'm not going to just let you get away with it like with a hand slap. I'm going to make you pay for it. And you've got to make young men like Muhammad, who look, they're aggressive, all that good stuff. You need to respect this sport. There have been too many people that have put their blood, sweat, and tears into making this a sport where you now can make a living. You can actually be a professional, and you disrespect every one of them by acting like an ass out there by what you did. Ridiculous. It's childish. Don't do it. And I would have taken points from him.
Do you think Beltran handled it the right way?
No, I don't. I love Mike. And it's fact, Mike's in that position. He doesn't want to affect the fight. But when you have someone that does something that disrespects the sport, you got to figure you're disrespecting your opponent. You are. But you're also disrespecting the sport. And what you're also doing is exactly what Dana White is now showing. You're making the promotion look bad. You are representing the promotion, the UFC, that you are not, in doing what you're doing, you are not representing my promotion the way I expect you to. That's why he's now going to be going somewhere else, Congratulations.
Well, no, I meant when I talk about the Mike Beltran thing, you're saying you would have taken a point, but I'm saying how Mike Beltran yelled at him.
Yes, that was all fine.
You think that was
There's
fine?
nothing wrong with that. You know what Mike Beltran is doing is he's scolding him like he's a child. Okay, because what is he doing? He's acting like a child. Okay, John, have you ever in any of your fights thought about? Have you ever grabbed the trunks of your opponent?
No.
Okay, why?
Okay, I'm not a cheater.
Okay, and you're also not going to try to do what? I'm not going to try to.
I never grabbed the fence either, John, as we found out last week and you and I argued about.
But you're not going to try to make it to where I can pull his pants down, so I'm giving a moon to everyone just because I can't. Ridiculous.
I get what you're saying. I just, what's funny is I always had this one thing that you did to me in the cage one time. You literally grabbed me by my arm, like my tricep, and like drug me over to the other side of the cage. And I was like, dude, I'm a grown ass man. What the f you acting like I'm your 10-year-old?
You are a grown ass man, but right now you're mine.
I was like, what is going on? I want to yank my arm away like I was a young kid. Get off me.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't, because I was just like, what's going on? I was more in shock. Like, what is this dude? He's really grabbing me right now. What the hell?
You're more questioning. What the hell's going on? What is he doing? What is he doing? Yeah.
Well, it's because I didn't do anything. Well, I guess I think it was because I kicked someone in the groin. I think it was because I kicked someone in the nuts.
Okay.
It slid up.
So you didn't do anything wrong once again.
I didn't do it. It was when we separated. That guy needed a second. But you literally grabbed me like I was some 5-year-old. Get over here. And I was like, what is going on? Yeah, I mean, Dana comes out and says basically, PFL is going to get a good undefeated guy.
Hey.
I mean, but also Mokaev this is what he also said inside. I don't know if it was an interview or if it was a post press conference. He basically was told by the promotion that if you don't start wrestling less, then we're not going to re-sign you.
Well,
you'll be a free agent.
Okay, hold on.
And
hold on. Is Muhammad Mokaev the only person that has ever been told that by the promotion?
But John, let me ask you this though. Is that look, now with gambling being involved, is that skewing fights though?
No.
Are we now going to start? Look, Curtis Blaydes doesn't wrestle as much anymore.
Okay.
Corey Anderson stopped wrestling.
That's right. He did.
Fights. Curtis Blaydes started losing fights.
Yeah. You're right.
Mokaev, he won tonight, but it wasn't a good fight.
No.
It was one of those fights that just like anyone, I get it. It just could have been, it just wasn't a good fight. And then I think that had something to do with just the animosity between the two. But the antics in which at the PI and then at the hotel and then at the weigh-ins and all this other stuff, right? The two of them always trying to get at each other. Dana thinks it's cool to go ahead and build up fights, but that type of stuff he's like gets irritated with. You guys aren't even main event fighters, and here I am having to deal with all this shit. You guys fighting at hotels,
But what does it do? Think about it. What does it do to Dana White and his promotion when he has children? Let's just be honest, because that's what you're acting like. Fighting in hotels. What do you think the hotel says? Do you think the hotel that just says, "Oh, it's okay"?
They hate it.
No, exactly. And they then I can't go back to the hotel. I try to rebook the hotel the next time I go to Manchester. What happens? No, we're not going to do that. You can go somewhere else. It just causes problems for the promotion. So of course Dana doesn't like it. He's looking saying, hey,
let me explain.
I pay you good money to fight when you go inside the octagon. I don't expect you to do that stupid shit when you're not in there.
It's so funny. It gives me flashbacks to Scott Coker telling me, oh, I heard you got to fight at the nightclub. If you're going to fight for free, let me know. I'll just go ahead and start throwing fights at the nightclub so you'll fight for me for free. It's like, you need to knock that shit off.
There you go.
And that's the thing. And like these hotels, they don't think like how probably us and fans think. Like, oh, it's a blessing for us to be there. They're like, God, this is the biggest headache ever. All these fighters do is make a mess all through our gym, our sauna, our showers, our bathrooms. At the buffet in the morning at breakfast. All they do is make messes.
Look, the hotel itself as a corporation loves the fact that the UFC is buying all these rooms and paying this big money. Mm-hmm. But every employee there is like, except for the one nerd that's a fight fan. Every employee is like, please get these people out of here.
Yeah, they're like, get them out of here. Obviously it's gotten better over the years because now the UFC's treated more. They're treating themselves more like a business. Yeah. You don't act right at these hotels, I'll just cut you. They're like, you're a dime a dozen. Back when they were trying to keep all the top level fighters from going to Strikeforce or going to Pride, or then they had to walk a little bit more walk on eggshells for the fighter. Yeah. Dana don't give a shit now.
Well, it's. I was talking to someone about this just today, and it's weird how you can see the change. If you've been around for as long as I've been around, you see the change in how things are. And the UFC has gone from being the year-to-year sport promotion to where they're what I call the decade promotion, meaning that they're making moves now that are going to have an effect a decade down the road. They're doing things kind of like the NFL does, Major League Baseball, the NBA. They're not making moves for next year. They're making moves for the decade, and then the decade beyond that. And when you see a company doing those things, man, they're so far ahead of the game as far as the way they're doing it. That's impressive. That's what shows you have made it to the mainstream of sports, and they have.
Absolutely. I mean, like, when it's sad when you see someone like Mokaev going, hey, I'm undefeated, and now you're going to send me over to the PFL.
Well, the best part is the PFL doesn't even have his weight class.
Yeah, that's one thing, and
so you're kind of screwed. Hello, Cage Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially go to Bellator, but I don't think Bellator's going to want to spend.
Bellator doesn't have his weight class either.
He's 125.
That's right.
Yeah, they're not doing that. You have to jump up to 135, and you don't want any of that patchy mix.
Oh yeah, baby.
I'm sorry.
Whole different.
I mean, can you think with the wrestling of Rafion Stotts, the wrestling of Danny Sabatello, you're not taking them down, and on the feet, you're definitely not standing with them. I mean, maybe Danny, but not Rafion.
I'll give you
patchy mix is just.
I'll give you a good patchy mix story right now that I got today. I'm at Extreme Couture. I'm teaching the class, right, and all of a sudden I'm walking up, and here comes Tatiana Suarez, and right, I said, "Hey, Tatiana, what's up?" And she goes, "Hey, John." She goes over and gives me a hug. I said, "How you doing?" We talked for a second. I said, well, she goes, I go, "Where's Patchy?" And he goes, "Oh, he went over. He left over there." He says, "There's some kind of class being taught here." She goes, "I think it's police officers. He didn't want to be around them." I said, "Well, one of them used to be."
Yeah, that's so funny. That's great.
I loved it.
That's great. Okay, so we've got let me see what other Parson looked good. Preston Parson looked good. The Bukauskas fight was a great fight against Pacino or whatever his name is. Great fight though. A lot of back and forth battle between the two. Good exchanges. Had a lot of fun with that fight. Obviously, the fight at the very end ended in an arm triangle choke. But I mean, Bukauskas was winning the fight, but there was moments in there where Marcin was actually having opportunities to land some big heavy shots. They really stood basically toe to toe and threw down. It was a fun fight back and forth, but Bukauskas was just a better fighter and just looked good, man. Looked really good. Sam Patterson against Kiefer Crosby. The fight was over before it started. I'm a Kiefer fan. I like Kiefer a lot.
I'm a big Kiefer fan. I love the guy as a person.
But he hasn't gotten any better, John. He's boxing only. He started off with a couple calf kicks.
That's it.
Got taken down. Once he got taken down, it was over, man. He went right to just getting, dominated from the top position. So, outside of that, man, I saw the Michael Parkin fight. Michael Parkin looked really good. Yeah. Great fighter. I think he has some potential there. Good shots, landed hard. The Brzezinski or whatever, he's fast, but he looks small for the heavyweights. He could potentially be a 205 pounder. I don't know if he can get there or not. He's tall, but he reminds me of he's just skinny, kind of tall, long. He's got good hand speed. I just don't know if he's a heavyweight. That's my thing. I think he might be a 205 pounder. I just don't know if he can make the 205 pound weight class. Okay. And I didn't see the opening fight. I missed it. I heard it was a bad decision, though. Someone was telling me that the Shauna Bannon girl, she should have lost. She won in a split decision. She should have lost. I didn't see that fight.
I didn't either. I'm a horrible person.
But I wanted to get back into that conversation about, we're talking about fighters that they predominantly wrestle. We saw this with John Fitch about how he didn't get a title shot for 11 fights or something
True.
like that. We've seen it with guys like Corey Anderson. We've seen it now with guys like Curtis Blaydes. They're starting to change their style, become more stand-up guys. I'm not saying that's a bad thing where they're using more of their stand-up. I'm simply saying that when you have a promotion who is skewing fighters into fighting a certain way so it keeps the crowd happy, now you're affecting how the betting line should be. Now you're affecting how fighters are changing their fighting style to make them happy because that's how they get paid. You're really putting these fighters at more of a risk than they're already taking, especially the ones that come from a high-level wrestling background. Not all of them are Dale Cormier. Not all of them are Cain Velasquez, who can wrestle constantly at a level like that in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, that's true. Not
all of them are that way. And so, like, Curtis Blaydes was never a two-time Olympian. You know, I mean, like, these guys are not, their ability to wrestle that way over and over is not there. And now you're changing the way you're influencing the way, I shouldn't change. You're influencing them to change the way they fight where they potentially get hurt more. Curtis Blaydes, there's no reason for him not to come out there and wrestle in the beginning, to get Tom Aspinall to slow down, to take away some of his athleticism, to take away the bounce in his steps, something along those lines. Now, I don't know if that's the way he wanted to fight, but look, Mokaev come out and basically said that if I don't change the way that I fight, that I'm basically going to be a free agent.
Okay.
When you have the promotion telling you that, I go back to this every single time after the John Fitch thing. Winning solves everything. You got to tune that shit out and just win.
Okay.
Unless you have a stick like a Chael Sonnen or a Colby Covington. I'm being honest.
Oh, no, it is.
You know?
No doubt about it.
Look, Kamaru Usman, he didn't have an easy way to the top either.
No.
You know, like he laid his groundwork.
He laid his groundwork as a wrestler. But when he switched over, especially, he started his whole stand-up and being able to be an effective stand-up fighter, being coached by Henry Hoof, being at the time it was Kill Cliff was Hard Knocks and things like that.
Hard Knocks 360.
Yeah, but he then continued to develop under Trevor Whitman and got even better in his stand-up. And so, that's part of just the progression of being an MMA fighter. But the one thing I will tell you is, as you said, winning solves everything. So as long as you're winning, but the one thing that you should be doing at all times for the promotion is trying to finish the fight. Quit wrestling to control for long enough to have a time elapse and I get my win based upon I'm a better wrestler and I can control somebody. That is always going to piss off every promoter there is. There's not one promoter that wants to have just that. They want guys that if you're going to wrestle, but go after the finish. Go after finishing your opponent. If you don't, I'm okay with that as long as you are going after it and making things happen. But when all you're doing is being a wet blanket and using your skill set, which is a good skill set, to just cover somebody and blanket them instead of damage them, no one's going to want to keep you. Your job is to be entertaining.
No, so let's, I guess the conversation then by the UFC or Dana and whoever with his fighters should be more, hey, if you're going to wrestle, I'm cool with that. But let's see you get finished. Let's see you work for more submission attempts. Then if you're not good at submissions, then fucking get better at it. If you're a wrestler, there's no reason for you not to be one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. If you're a damn good wrestler, you should be really good at jiu-jitsu. If you came into the sport, the first thing you should have been doing was jiu-jitsu. Not just because you don't want to get submitted when you take someone down, because you want to submit people. And from there, you build on your ground and pound.
It's exactly what
submissions and ground and pound together.
I want you to think about this. You can go back in time and you're going to know everybody I'm talking about. You can take a look at, Jake Shields. Okay. Where did Jake Shields learn what he does? He took his wrestling, basically, high school wrestler, low-level collegiate wrestler, and took that, learned jiu-jitsu from Cesar Gracie, but then switched it and started calling it what? American jiu-jitsu. And why did he call it American jiu-jitsu? Because his idea was to take his grappling and pressure you throughout the time that you were on the ground to the point you had to move so he could get his finishes. So he was always working towards the finish. Now, did he always get the finish? No, he didn't always get the finish, but that's what you want to see, is someone that forces you into mistakes that he can then get the finish. As you just said, if you're a good wrestler, there is no way in the world that you could not be a good jiu-jitsu person as long as you learn the techniques. You have all the skill set that is necessary to be good at it. It's a matter of time and effort in taking those skills and making them something that become natural to you. So you take a look at some of these guys, they get by with what they're good at, and they don't, I just look at fighters that they're good at a specific thing, and they go to the gym and they'll spar a little bit, or they'll train, or they'll hit mitts, but they're not doing the things that are going to make them better in those areas that they need to get better. Yeah. They get comfortable doing the same thing time and time again in the gym. And so when you see them and their performance in the cage, you don't see any change.
Maybe two more things, but this is someone from Twitter. His name is Vent.
I'm going to vent.
He basically said, at the Real Punk, which is me, why is DC out there acting like Joe Biden in these post-fight interviews? Sorry, man. I had to throw it out there. Oh,
dude, when he called Belal Muhammad, Leon Rocky Edwards, I went, oh my God. I can't believe he just did that.
Belal's been waiting for this moment his whole life. And you just did that.
What a classic moment. But
Vent goes, hey, you better cook his ass.
I never thought that Vent would come up with the comparison that DC is Joe Biden, but I think he's right.
I was sitting here, I was finishing up watching it, and George and I were already on here. And I literally, did he just say?
Leon I did the same thing. I was watching because I wanted to see thing, and I'm looking, and I was just getting to come on here, and I said, "What did he just say?" I couldn't believe it. It happens. It happens.
It was hilarious. What else? Let me see. I think that might have been it, man. I think that might have, there was the one thing here that said Mokaev basically said, Mokaev says he was told before UFC 304 that the promotion might not re-sign him if he continued to shoot takedowns.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Okay.
So, and we found out that he probably won't be re-signed because Dana came out and said that.
Because
there's a little bit of a fun,
because he's shooting moons.
Yeah, he's just shooting takedowns, man. Shooting takedowns. Says, Jake Shields says, should I start doing fight breakdown videos? Almost all the journalists who break down fights have never been punched in the face. To me, this seems like a virgin teaching you how to fuck.
I know many people that would want a virgin teaching them how to fuck.
Oh, geez. If anyone can get some, hey.
That's it.
All right, guys. Hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. I want to thank you guys so much. Let you guys know, thank you so much for supporting our show. We try to do this as fast as we possibly can after the pay-per-views. John is all the way in California, so he's on West Coast time. He can get some sleep. What is it, like 11:30 there? It's 2 in the morning.
Good question, is it? I love the fact
it's
like 11:45. It's amazing. Amazing.
You got like 10 more hours. You got 10 hours to sleep.
No, I don't. I have to be up at 6 o'clock.
That's whatever.
6 hours of sleep. That's awesome. Are you kidding? Fantastic.
It's no big deal. No big deal. I want to thank you guys so much. And John, take us away.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to say to the man who was just our last guest on here, congratulations to the new welterweight champion of the world, Mr. Belal Muhammad. You absolutely deserved it. Fantastic performance. To everyone out there, hope you enjoyed the fights, and we will see you.